Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
Everybody, and welcome back inside the Lock Shop. Nielson and Huss back with you once again, hammering the NHL playoffs. If you've not yet started to wager on the NHL playoffs, you can do so over at Coolbet. Coolbet.com. Sign up for an account. Use the code LOCKSHOP. 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $100. And as long as you're not betting from an NFL facility, you should be okay. Hey, Huss, how about that news today, buddy? Huss, are you muted? I think you muted yourself. I think you were coughing, didn't you?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, there we go. No, all good.
Yeah, Jameson Williams, man, the Lions just can't catch a break. All this hype going into the season, and well, at least he didn't get clipped for the full year.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder, folks. So we always say, play responsibly and in your limits. And if your professional paycheck depends on not gambling, don't do it. 5 guys got clipped today by the league. They mean business.
Well, and it's interesting because Jameson Williams wasn't gambling on NFL games. He was betting on college games, but he was doing it from an NFL facility. And that's why he got hit with the 6-gamer as opposed to the year, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of fascinating. Like, you can bet on other things, just don't bet on them from, like the dressing room or the trainer's room or something like that. So, yeah, we'll see.
Well, hey, it's a good reminder for many young players in the National Football League because it is everywhere, but there are rules. Got to follow them or you'll be using a few paychecks, which will hurt your bottom line, whether you're winning or losing your college football bets.
It's also one of the major reasons that you and I didn't go pro in any particular sport, right? Because we want to bet on them, right? So that's the last thing we need. Yeah, big time conflict of interest. By the way, somebody texted into my show this morning, the Smash Hit Nielsen show on 1260. Texted in at before 6 o'clock this morning. I say, hey, Dusty, I just wanted to let you know that because of your guys' Lock Shop picks yesterday, I cashed out $2,700 last night. I was just like, woo! What? Let's go. So that was nice. I love seeing that trickle in like on the show where guys are like, Dusty, I've been killing it on the Lock Shop. I'm like, good. Keep coming. Tell your friends,
Well, this has been an unreal week for the first week of the playoffs for us. And yes, I didn't do the usual touchdown dance after we hit back-to-back exclusives because, of course, the last one we needed was the over in the Jets-Vegas game. And I was a little pissed off that the goals that got the over were for the home team, and that series was tied at 1. It was a crazy game last night. We're going to get into it more in depth on Winnipeg Sports Talk, but I mean,
it was 2-2 when I went to bed. I was tired. I went to bed. It was 2-2, and I watched the first and a good chunk of the second. The Lightning had some great surges in the second, but Winnipeg got out. You're tied at 2. That first period, though, buddy, like considering what happened in game 1, and then you get this first period of game 2. I'm sitting there watching it with my dad. I'm like, my God, the Jets might just run away with this thing. Like it was wild.
Oh, the texts were flying. We're the best team in the league. Oh, just stop this team. But you know what? It was unrealistic to think they were just going to browbeat Vegas for 4 games and get out of there. But man, the start was, they looked even better than they did on Tuesday. And Tuesday was the best game we've seen in years from this hockey club. So, but there was going to be a punch back from Vegas. I don't think there was any doubt. Mark Stone really stepped up. He had a rough game 1. He was a major factor in game number 2, and Jack Eichel as well got his first playoff goal, a nice tip. And the Jets top line of Dubois, Scheifele, and Connor had so many chances earlier on. I don't know what the final shot total on Kyle Connor, but he smashed his over prop, that's for sure. At one point, he had 5 shots in the game when Vegas as a team had 2, but they weren't able to connect. And the other guys bounced back. This is going to be a real fun series. Tomorrow, wherever you are, throw the tube on, 3 p.m. Central. The whiteout returns to Winnipeg. It is going to be bananas in there, and really interested to see how game 3 goes because I think we've seen some great hockey from the Winnipeg Jets for the first 4 periods, and then Vegas sort of flexing their muscles. So as we all know, much like this Oilers-Kings game tonight for a split series, game 3, absolutely just so important when it comes to either maintaining home ice that was earned with the split on the road or the higher seed getting back on serve, if you will, and I can't wait for it.
Elsewhere last night in the National Hockey League, and we did hit our 3-game exclusive back-to-back nights. We're going to try to run that back again for a three-peat here to end the week. Huss was 3 of 4 yesterday. I hit the lock shop play of the day yesterday over on the Coolbet social, so it was another good day. And Tampa, the lines for Saturday's games are already up, so I'll give you a few quick thoughts on that. More so recapping what happened yesterday. Huss, the Leafs rolled the Lightning. The Rangers and Devils, same thing again. Rangers a convincing 5-1 victory. And the Colorado Avalanche, who I had money line for the lock shop play of the day at a pretty nice number, they were down 2-0, had to storm back and squeak out a 3-2 victory. So what else jumped off the page for you yesterday, and how does that lead into some of the early leans for tomorrow?
Well, first of all, the Leafs came up huge. I mean, Mitch Marner scoring that goal in the first period, I think that really got them going again, put a little belief, the energy back in the building, and they ran away with it. Now, we saw Tampa with their trademark gooning it up in games that they're completely out of, trying to send a message for the next game. And it's quite interesting. The Lightning are a home dog in game number 3. And again, take this for what it's worth. The Leafs are such a public team when you're talking about Canadian sports markets. That number should probably be more like the Lightning, a slight favorite, or if anything, a pick 'em, not necessarily minus 118 for Toronto and plus 101 for Tampa. But that's the way the things look for tomorrow. And that we just talked about Vegas and Winnipeg. This is basically a pick 'em as well. Vegas minus 107, Winnipeg minus 110 for the game tomorrow. And as far as those others, I mean, I didn't see any of the Colorado game. We were glued to Vegas and Winnipeg. However, I got the messages from you guys, and everyone was talking, what? Seattle's up 2-0? I kind of feel like maybe this was the wake-up call for Colorado. I'll probably stay on that side. And I wouldn't be surprised if Jersey kind of finds a way to get a win in the series. But they had the 1-0 lead, and then it was all Rangers the rest. And enough all Rangers to get us over 5.5, which was the important part of that game.
That was the most important part. Yeah, that one was a little bit of a nerve-wracker last night. CG Beckes in it says, I was 3 of 4 last night, so fantastic. Let's keep this going, guys. I'm on the Oilers money line, and that brings us to tonight's pick and a couple of other gentlemen who are on the Oilers money line tonight, and that would be Huss and I. And we've got a few different plays for all of these games tonight. Huss, where do you want to start, buddy? Where do you want to go?
Well, I'll go to the early game right off the bat. I'm going to take the Islanders again. I thought that they got served a raw deal in game number 2. They had no power play opportunities. And the winning goal in overtime was basically seconds after an egregious high stick that took Scott Mayfield, their defenseman, out of the play. So I don't know whether they maybe get a couple makeup calls tonight, whether they can handle it. But I do think that environment on Long Island is going to give them the boost. They've been really tight in this game. Carolina hasn't been scoring a ton of goals. So let's go with the Islanders to get it done and at least get a win in this series and avoid going down 3-0. We'll let you kind of talk a little bit more about Edmonton and where they're at right now. But I do like the Edmonton Oilers to kind of build off that game 2 win. I think overall they've probably been the better team in both of those games, but obviously let game number 1 slip away. They got to get one back. Very important to regain home ice. I think they'll do it tomorrow. And then we've got a couple of totals. We've been real hot with the totals. And that's been a big part of the exclusives. I think we're going to see more goals in this Boston-Florida game. I know Boston only scored 2 at home. I expect that to change. I could see this one getting over 7.5, to be honest with you. And I know 6.5 is a big number, but the over is plus money. We saw 7 go in the net, including 4 from the Panthers last week in the last game. And the Panthers have a lot of momentum right now. I mean, that's a big, big win for them. They are playing really well. I just have to think that Boston's going to start, cashing in a few more of their chances on Alex Lyons. So a plus money number over 6.5. I'm in on that. And then I'm going to go with the under in this Minnesota-Dallas game. I'm assuming Gustafson's back in after the Galaxy brain.
But they have to. What are you doing?
Sure. He was so brilliant in game number 1. And I really do think that this game is going to look a little bit more like that chess match with a lot of violence that was game number 1 of the series. So XL Energy Center is going to be rocking, but I think this will be a much tighter defensive game, certainly than we saw in the offensive explosion in game number 2. So I'm going to take the under 5.5 in the Minnesota-Dallas game. So a couple money line picks and a couple totals for the Friday night slate.
And a few of those factoring into our exclusive as well. Hey, if you're watching on Twitter right now, and there seems to be a lot of you watching on Twitter right now, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, Lock Shop Podcast. They get a posted shortly after we finish the video, so you make sure you get it every single day. So just on all your podcasting platforms, hit us up at the Lock Shop, and hey, on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Lock Shop Bets on YouTube as well. All of our content's archived over on YouTube. All right, so Dallas, I'm wondering how much Minnesota's rattled by the fact that they went to Fleury and they got pumped. And I know they're going back to Gustafsson, but I wonder if there's something that lingers a bit there with the group Huss that takes a game to maybe get back. Like, no matter what happens with Gustafsson tonight, you got to go to Gustafsson in game 4, right? Like, you've given Fleury his little pity start. You can't do that again, can you?
Well, I mean, I guess if he gets lit up for 6 or 7, they might go back. I wouldn't, personally. I mean, Gustafsson's been the better goaltender all season long. And I can tell you, if one guy wasn't named Marc-Andre Fleury, with the resume that he's had, they wouldn't have even been in net in game number 2. So, but you know what? We had Jesse Pierce on, covers the Wild on Winnipeg Sports Talk before the beginning of the playoffs. And she said that Dean Evason had said going into the playoffs, like a week before it started, regardless of who they played, that they were going to use both goaltenders in the playoffs. So he was true to his word in the first 2 games, but considering the respective performances of the two, I think they go back to Gus, and barring a disastrous performance, I think he gets game 4 as well. That's what I would do. But as I said, that was a strange decision. I thought coming out of how brilliant Gustafsson was. So I guess we'll just have to see.
Dallas money line -112 tonight. I'm going to say that momentum carries over. And I know a lot of people say momentum doesn't carry over in the playoffs, but be interesting to see how Minnesota reacts to going back to Gustafsson, a guy that they have to have more faith in. But are they rattled, or have they allowed Dallas to get some of that momentum that they might have lost with the way that they lost game 1? I love Ottinger. I'm an Ottinger guy. I'm going to get on the Dallas money line here at -112. That Carolina Islanders game, the total's actually set at 5. I bought half a goal, moved it up to 5.5, and took the under at -149. Carolina, they've already lost. I mean, they don't have Svechnikov. They don't have Pacioretty. They lost Teravainen to a broken hand. Their offensive pieces have been falling quickly here. Islanders at home here probably continue to try to tighten things up a little bit. So let's go New York and Carolina under 5.5 at -149. I'm on Boston on the money line. In fact, what I'm probably going to do here, and what I would advise you to do, I had a nice little 2-game parlay last night. Colorado in regulation and the Phoenix Suns, and ended up playing basically +100 or whatever. It was nice. Basically doubled your money on that one last night. What I might do here tonight is take Boston to win on the money line and combine it with the over 6.5 Huss. I think that's probably a pretty good play. In fact, if I'm going to combine them both, I might just go down to 5.5 with Boston on the money line and take that. That'd probably end up being a pretty decent number. So Bruins money line bouncing back after that loss in game 2. And then I am on the Edmonton Oilers tonight. Money line play at -150. Huss said it earlier. He's 100% right. The Edmonton Oilers, they were 16 seconds away from being up 2-0 in this series. They played much better again in game. Now, the interesting thing is that they've had 2-goal leads in both games and blown it. In game 2, they managed to steady the ship in the third period. Draisaitl has been an absolute monster, and I don't think these games are going to be much different than the ones we saw in Edmonton, mostly because the coach has just been rolling out the lines and happy with the matchups. I mean, Todd McClellan has been putting Deneau out there, and Jay Woodcroft's just been leaving McDavid up against Deneau. So it's not like all of a sudden they're going to go to LA and I think they're going to try to put Kopitar out against McDavid when Deneau's been having a little bit of 5-on-5 success against him. So I'm leaning towards an Edmonton money line and under 6.5 parlay here. The Oilers have been pretty steady defensively, and they haven't given the Kings much. The Kings also haven't scored first in this series. If they were to score first tonight, that would probably lean towards an under style of game as well. But my 4 plays would be Boston money line -146, Edmonton money line -150, Carolina and the Islanders under 5.5 at -149, and then Dallas on the road in game 3 money line at -112. Now, Huss, we've kind of pieced another exclusive together here from these as well, haven't we?
Yeah, we certainly have. And by the way, I'm with you on the under in the Oiler-Kings game tonight. Yeah. I think the -113 under 6.5 is a nice one. Although for the exclusive, we went with the Oilers money line. We're both on that. So we've got the Oilers to win And as I said, we've been killing these totals. So let's keep riling with it. We're going to go with the over 6.5, which again is plus money, which should add a nice number to this exclusive. And then we'll adjust the Minnesota-Dallas game up to 6.5 and take the under on that. And if you're just going to bet that alone, it's actually gone up to minus 180. So we got a plus 102. We got a minus 180. We got a minus 150. Jake and Patty will give us the number, and we'll get that in. It's not up right now, but it should be up shortly.
Soon. Yeah, very soon. Yeah.
Check the exclusives. Lock Shop Partner Parlay. We've got 2 nights ago, we had the plus 430. Last night, plus 460. I imagine this will probably be in and around the plus 400, but basically the same sort of range.
It'll be right around there. Yeah.
So good things happen in 3. So let's bang this one out heading into the weekend and finish off an amazing week 1 of NHL playoffs in the Lock Shop.
Yeah, back-to-back 3-game exclusives, back-to-back plays of the day hitting. I was 4-0 a couple nights ago. Huss has been back-to-back 3-1 here. Things have been going pretty well with the Lock Shop as of late. So let's try to keep that rolling as well tonight. And, we'll probably tweet out some picks as we work our way through the weekend, because when you're this hot, Huss, you got to keep the picks out there for the people, right?
Yeah, well, who knows? Maybe we'll even crank out an exclusive tomorrow or Sunday. Sometimes the guys will ask us for some picks. So, but let's focus in on tonight. We got those 2 totals. Oilers to get the win on the money line, and then I'll be locked in tomorrow afternoon on the Jets in Vegas. The whiteout returns to Winnipeg. Watch the start of the game. It is going to be a sight to see here in the Peg for this game number 3.
Well, good luck tonight, buddy. Good luck with that Jets game tomorrow. And watch for the exclusives. I know we'll put together some exclusives for the weekend here. Hopefully you can remain hot on that. And we'll be back with more NHL playoff puck picks on Monday. Huss, we'll talk to you then, bud.
Right on, dude.